and we will get started today with putting the band around our ankles, a little bit above the ankles. And again, obviously, if you have ankle weights, you can put them on now, or you just hold weights. And we want to kind of hinge down a little bit, so we're kind of sitting back almost in a chair, putting the weight in our legs here, and we're just going to sidestep across our mat here. Turn on my... Oh, and as always, if you have music or anything that you want to play in the background quietly to pump yourself up, you can always do that. I always forget to mention that. So we'll go back and forth twice here. Just warming up kind of our side thigh, side glute. And start connecting to your breath, taking big inhales, filling up your diaphragm, and exhaling, letting it all out and drawing that belly in. So once you get to the end of your mat, we're gonna switch now. So now we're facing our mat, and we're gonna walk forward and back. So now it's gonna be a little bit more of the front and back of our body. And when you get to the top of your mat, don't turn around. We're gonna walk backwards, just for fun. Turns on your bum a little bit more. And we'll do this again, once more, up and down the mat. And then when you're finished, we'll come to the center, plant one foot down, make sure you have a little bit of give in that knee so that you're not locking it, and we're gonna do side lifts. Just little ones here. Really turning on those side glutes. Again, keep breathing here. And you can point or focus on a spot on the floor about 8 feet in front of you. We'll do 2 more on this side. And last one. And then we'll switch. Again, make sure you have a little bit of bend in that knee, not locking it. And we lift and lower. Try to keep your torso relatively still. For 3 more on this side. And last one. Ooh. Great. Now I'm going to put my band just above my knees for some squatting work. You can leave it down by your ankles. And I'm putting my heels about shoulder width apart. My toes are slightly turned out. And we're gonna sit back like we're sitting in that chair and standing up. So now the important thing too is you wanna make sure obviously that your knees are pointed in the same direction as your toes. That's where you kind of have to resist that band. I personally like to inhale on my way down, exhale on my way up. But as long as you're breathing each time, we'll go for 2 more. And then we're gonna stay down low and flare our knees open and closed. Try to stay as low as you can here. And try to keep your knees, or open your knees evenly and come back evenly so that one leg isn't doing all the work here. For 3, 2, and 1. Come standing up, you can kind of shake it off. Good. So now we are going to kind of do some more of that side work. So let's plant one leg again and have a little bit of bend in that knee so we're not locking that knee. We're gonna tap our other foot out to the side, tap it back into center, tap it diagonally behind us and back in, and then tap it directly behind and in. So tap so that you kind of feel that resistance band pulling away, or if you have an ankle weight on, feeling it working there. And of course, to take this up a notch, don't tap your foot in as you come in. You can kind of hover it to work on your balance. Try to stay low in that other leg so that your stabilizing leg is working as well as this leg that's reaching out. Let's finish this last kind of rotation here. And then coming in. Once you're finished, you can stand up, take a little break. And we're gonna do some curtsy lunges. So having that same leg on the ground, I'm just turning so that you can see me and that I don't hit my reformer. But you can keep that same leg planted that was just working. And for curtsy lunges, you wanna step back and your other foot is gonna come kind of to the side, and all 10 toes are still pointing in the same direction. They're all pointing forwards. And you wanna step back far enough so that when you do curtsy down, your front knee isn't too far over your toes. It's not like this. It's a little bit more backwards, so your knee is almost kind of in the center of your foot. And then stepping forwards. Try to focus on one spot, then you won't fall over like I'm about to. And bending down and coming forwards. So stepping almost to the other edge of your mat. And I'm staying bent in this front knee. So even when I come up, you'll see that my knee is still bent here. I'm not coming to stand up each time. I'm trying to keep that leg loaded, keep it working. We'll do 2 more. And then we're gonna come back one last time into this curtsy lunge, and we're gonna pulse. So we're gonna go up and down here, bending and straightening our knees. All 10 toes are pointed forwards. Hopefully you can feel that front leg working hard. And your body's just going up and down vertically. You're not leaning forwards or backwards. For 3 more. And 2. And last one. Coming in, you shake it out. And then we do that on the other side. So, planting now your other foot as your stabilizing leg. And we start, I need to catch my breath. And we start tapping to the side, tapping in, tapping diagonally behind and in, and then tapping, directly behind and in. So side, diagonal, and behind. Make sure that that front knee is bent, and the lower that you sit down in that stabilizing leg, the harder it's gonna work. And of course, you can eliminate the tap and hover your leg when you come back to center. We'll do 2 more of these kind of rotations, kind of around the world almost. And then finishing with your last one. When you're finished, join us standing up here. And we'll do our curtsy lunges on the other side. So I didn't mention this on the last one, but a good kind of way to measure for your curtsy lunges is to place your stabilizing leg kind of in the center of your mat. And then your other leg is gonna step behind. And it's gonna come almost to the other edge of your mat. And then curtsying down and coming up. Similar to our normal lunges, the majority of your weight is in your front foot, that stabilizing leg. Your back leg, well, this is hard to, okay, I'm gonna talk through this because it's hard to do while talking and not falling over. So your back leg isn't really doing as much work. It's really all in that stabilizing leg, that front foot that's not moving. And you wanna make sure you're stepping back far enough that that front knee doesn't go over your toes. We'll do 2 more. And our last one. And then we do our pulses. So getting set up in our good pulsing, all 10 toes are forwards, and then bending our knees and standing up. And then again, thinking of your torso and your whole body basically going up and down vertically. I'm not leaning forwards or backwards. For 3 more. And 2. And then last one. Standing up. Whew. So we'll give our legs a little bit of a break and then move on to some abs now. So first actually, I'm gonna come to lying down on the mat. And my band is around the arches of my feet. So, taking our hands behind our head and really rest the weight of your head in your hands so that when you do curl up, it's the weight's in your hands and it's not in your neck. Make sure you find that neutral spine with that little grate size space beneath your low back. Take a big inhale, and then as you exhale, nod your chin to your chest and curl up. And then we'll just inhale to go down. We'll do a few warm-ups here. Exhaling, curling up, and inhaling back down. Exhaling up, let go of all that air, draw your belly into your spine, and inhale down. And then, so you can stay here if this is good for you right now, or if you want, you can add on. As you curl up, stretch one leg out. So we're kind of pulling here, pushing and pulling the band. And then as you come back to tabletop, lower your head. Exhaling, curling up, other leg's gonna reach out, and your other knee is still gonna stay in that tabletop position. And then coming back. So each time, draw that belly into your spine as you come up. And really press that other leg away with intention. Think of your low belly and pelvic floor. So as I say in class, think about stopping the flow of urine. To help think about that pelvic floor. We'll do 1 more on each side. And then we're going to hold up, reach one leg long, and we're going to kind of pulse here. So you're going to pull your tabletop leg kind of in towards your chest and also lift your chest at the same time. So we're crunching in, for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower your head. You can take a second here before we do the other side. Good, get set up again. Start with a big inhale. As you exhale, nod your chin to your chest, curl up, stretch the opposite leg out now, and we're gonna do those pulse kind of crunches. So we're bringing that one knee in as we crunch in. Make sure that belly is drawn in, and keep breathing here. Try to get those shoulders off the mat. For 3 more. And 2. And 1. Whew. You can rock your legs side to side, hug them in, whatever feels good for you. I love resistance bands. This is my talking time to kind of give you a break because I need a little bit of a break. If you don't have them, and especially since who knows how long this lockdown is going to last, I'd really suggest getting them. You can get them, you know, like there's the dreaded Amazon and stuff like that, but even other like local retailers, and they're so inexpensive. There's so many exercises you can do, so something to think about. All right. Keeping that band around our ankles, or keeping your ankle weights on if you're using those. Hands again behind our head. Taking a big inhale, and then as you exhale, nod your chin to your chest, curl up. We're going to hold here, and we're going to extend our legs, opening our legs wide, and then inhale back to tabletop, lowering our head down. So as we exhale, we're going to come up, reach our legs long, open them as wide as we can without resistance, and then coming in. If you don't have the band to kind of monitor your resistance, you want to only go so wide, about as wide as your mat, and you want to kind of keep that pelvic control, so you don't want to start rocking side to side. As you exhale, draw in that low belly and draw in that belly button. For 2 more. And then I wonder if you can guess what's coming. But after this last one, we're going to hold up, and we're just going to open and close, open and close. Keep breathing. You can reach your arms by your sides if that's more comfortable for you. For 3, and 2, and 1. And then lowering down. You can take, actually, you can't take the band off. Who am I kidding? You can put it around, we're done with the abs, so for right now. You can take the band and put it around your knees for our bridging series. All right. So band just above your knees. Our feet are a little bit more than a hand's distance from our bum here, about hip distance apart. Somebody's maybe not muted. I think we're all muted now. Sorry about that, guys. So, back in our bridge position. Arms are down by our sides to begin. We'll start with a big inhale. As you exhale, lift your hips up into your bridge. And then inhale to lower your hips down. So we're going to exhale, lifting up, and inhaling to lower. Draw in that belly as you lift up and lower down. Relax your face and your neck and your shoulders. And as always, if you want, you can lift your forearms off for a little less stability, or you can lift your arms off for the next level challenge. We'll do 2 more. Think about reaching those knees over your toes. And then we're going to hold up at the top. Turn on your bum. And we're going to open our knees and then go back to that hip distance apart. So opening and closing, opening and closing. We haven't done enough of that side thigh and side glute work, I guess, so we're going to do a little more. Try to maintain that height in your bridge and also keep your hips level. For 3 and 2 and last 1, and then lowering our hips down. You can sway side to side. So now we're going to walk our feet a little bit wider. Toes are almost kind of at the width of the mat, and our toes are slightly turned out. Our knees are going to be slightly turned out, and we're really pressing on that resistance band from the get-go. Again, start with a big inhale, and then as you exhale, lift your hips up into this kind of wide bridge, and inhale to lower your hips down. Exhaling, lifting up, and inhaling down. So try to keep your knees pointing in the same direction as your toes. And you're controlling that band, keeping your legs open. And our hips are going up at the same time, and both sides are coming down at the same time. Get those shoulders out of your ears. I just noticed myself doing that. Somehow my shoulders always think they're going to help up there. Let's do 2 more before we add on our pulses. So our last one here. And then coming up into our bridge. Reach those knees over your toes, relax your face, and then we're going to lower our hips a couple inches and lift them back up. So we're lowering and lifting, lowering and lifting. Squeezing that bum each time and trying to come back up to that height that you had before. For 3 more, and 2, and last one, and lowering down with control. Sway your legs or reach them out, whatever feels nice. Okay, so swinging yourself up. This one is a challenge if you're using the band, I'll just say that. And if this becomes too much for you, you can always kind of move to putting your hand on like the couch or a table, something like that. So we're gonna do some side oblique work and also some side bends. So we'll start just with our side bending. So knees are about hip distance apart, and you want to make sure your knees, hips, and shoulders are all stacked in a nice line. Kind of think like we're between 2 panes of glass with our body here. And all we're going to do is reach long through the crown of our head and side bend over to one side. And then come back to center. Inhaling as we go over to the other side, exhaling, coming back. So we're using both sides of our waist here to bring us back up to center, and then side bending over and back up to center. So notice how my hips are staying still as I side bend over. I'm not like jutting my hip out as I bend. My lower body's staying totally still, and it's all in that upper torso and in our core here. We'll do 1 more on each side. Good. Okay, so that was the easy part. That was kind of a warm-up. Get our spine moving, warm up our obliques. This is where if you have something that maybe you want to put your hand on. Otherwise, or you might want to take your resistance band off if you find it too much. We're going to plant our hand down by our side here. Again, we still want to think like we're between those two panes of glass. So my hips ideally are in line with my knees. It might be a little bit backwards, but you don't want to be totally sitting back. So we're in a nice line. Our other leg is going to reach out now. And the only thing that's going to change in our body is our leg's going to lift and lower. Lift and lower. So my stabilizing leg here isn't moving at all. And my head is between my shoulders, so I'm not letting it drop down as much as I want to. We'll do 3 more. And 2. And then last one. Good. Bringing that leg back under and gently coming up. So that is one. I know for some people you might want to have, like if you have like a yoga block or something, you can put that under your hand, or like I said, like a table or a chair to kind of help you if it's too much for you to be completely side bending over. Okay, so now we're gonna do that on the other side. So planting our hand down. Oh, and sorry, I should mention my hand is basically like under my shoulder here. It's not like too far out or it's not too far under. Gotta make sure ideally your hips are stacked over your knees. And then we kick that other leg out and we lift it up and tap it down. So our abs are turned on here. We're using our breath. And our stabilizer leg is working as well. For 3 more. And 2. And last one. And then gently bring that knee under. Come up. How's my time? Okay, perfect. So we're gonna finish with a plank here. I'm gonna put the band back around my ankles, like how we started class. You can do your plank on your hands or your forearms. You can do them on your knees as well. But if you're using the resistance band around your ankles, then you go on your feet. I'm gonna get my timer started. In 3, 2, and 1. So before we add anything on, how's my band doing? Okay, before we add anything on, fancy, we want to make sure we're in our good plank position. So turn on your bum, draw your belly in. Make sure you're not locking your elbows if you're on your hands. And you can stay here if that's a good position for you today. Otherwise, if you want, we're going to tap one foot out, come back in, tap the other foot out, and back in. Use your breath here and make sure your neck is long. Keep breathing. I'm going to check the timer here. All right, so for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and then you can lower down. And we'll finish with some stretching. So don't worry, we don't need the band. Let's just sit back into a shell stretch or child's pose. Really reach your arms long away from your hips. And take a nice big inhale, filling up your ribs all the way to the back. And then exhaling, letting it all out. We'll do that one more time. Another big inhale. And then exhale, just relax everything. Leave all your stresses on the mat. And then, you know, I normally like to finish my classes with a little bit of some spine work here. So I'm just gonna be kneeling so that you can see me better, but you can come up to standing if it's not so good to be on your knees. And we'll stretch out those obliques and that side body that we worked on. So reaching one arm up, and then we're gonna side bend over. Again, as I do this, my lower body is staying still. I'm not like jutting out my hip. It's really in that spine bending. And then coming back up to center, reach the other arm up, and side bend over, lengthening through your head and through your fingers. And then back to center. And then we'll finish. Actually, we'll do a bit of extension work since we didn't do any of that today. So you can take your hands behind your head if that's comfortable for you. Otherwise, you can just keep them down by your sides. And we're going to inhale as we kind of arc our back. It's almost like a vertical cat-cow here. Moving up towards the ceiling. And then exhaling, coming down, making that C shape with your spine, letting out all the air. Inhaling, stacking back up, and then leaning back, opening your chest. And then exhaling one more time. Let it all out. Relax your shoulders. Coming back up. And if you need to leave, that's cool. Go ahead. I know I'm a little bit over time. We're just going to do one more, some twisting to move our spine a little bit in the rotation. So you can have your arms out in a T or on your shoulders. Lower body is going to stay still again, so our hips, nothing's going to change there. As we inhale to one side, exhale back to center, inhale to the other side, and exhale back to center. We'll do one more on each side.